Okay, so I'm going to walk you through how to best use this guide and how to take advantage of it. So when you first get it, I'm going to use my incognito window. It'll look like this. You want to duplicate, right, and have it in your own place where you can edit it. So create an account if you don't have Notion and go from there. Once you have it duplicated, take a look at the discounts here, which is lovely, and then also take a look at the recommended courses and books, right? I'm not going to get into theory much. I'm not going to get into the best practices of how to be a startup founder. We will cover tactical ways of doing that, right? That's the whole point of this guide. Like, what software should I use and how should I use them? But theory and all that stuff is covered extremely well by Y Combinator and Steve Blank and others that I end up recommending in this part of the guide, which is being very slow to load right now. Um, Now, how do we start with the guide? Start like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple as that. We'll get into that. But if you're ever stuck, there's some resources, and there'll be a FAQ section that you can take a look at later on. This is going to be a work in progress, so be patient with me as we work through it. So let's get into one of these chapters. At the beginning of each chapter, we're going to have, again, a little bit of theory just to get you comfortable with the ideas that are going to be presented. But really, the meat of everything is going to be in these tasks. Again, I do really recommend you take a look at the suggested readings, but the tasks is the tactical step-by-step stuff. Here you can see numbers next to each one. Follow them in order. They're from top to bottom. Everything's in order. Again, you'll see value, effort, company operations, company stage, type of company, whether or not this is free or whether or not it's B2C or B2B. Hopefully, these can be helpful guidelines for you as you decide what to work on, what not to work on. Anyway, let's get into one of these. We open it. In here, simple to do items, just like that. When we're done with something, you can press done here. And the lovely thing is if you go back, it's no longer there. So that's how you can track whether or not you've done something. It goes into the completed task. You can undo that. It comes back. And the other nice thing is, of course, if you want to give yourself due dates, things like that, you're more than free to do that. And if you know how to use Notion, you can add a Kanban board and all that good stuff. There's some, there's a calendar view I have here in case you want to add due dates for yourself. But again, Kanban is possible as well. Now let's go back to one of the chapters that has more than just a 1, 2, 3 step. So we'll go to hypothesis and validation. Here you'll see things that don't have numbers. These are optional but highly recommended as the value says high, right? There'll be items that maybe are medium value and so on and so forth. But again, anything that is optional, you can think of as maybe I do it at this stage. Maybe I want to put in the effort, but I don't have to, right? For example, running Google Ads, right? Maybe you do it during your validation. I never run Google Ads to validate products, but definitely you want to run Google Ads eventually, whether that's in your launch phase or growth phase or your scale phase. So you'll see this task. It'll actually be in all of those, right? It'll be in your grow, launch, and scale. But again, if you mark it as done, let's say you do it in your hypothesis and validation phase, then it'll be removed from all of these. But if you don't mark it as done and you go to launch, we'll see that it is still in that launch phase is do your Google Ads. Again, just like that, the validation phase and the launch phase, you see that it is by order. So you do the third one, and then I recommend you find a co-founder, but you can skip that if you want and go into iterating on your website. And then I recommend you set up the data analytics, but you don't have to do that. You can go straight to basics of user onboarding. I hope this all makes sense. It's iterative. You get free updates for life. So if you're not happy with any of this, if you think it could be improved, let me know and you're going to get the updated version. I very much look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.